Please be seated. Before we begin, some quick announcements. Please turn off your phones, watch alarms, tablets, and any other device that beeps, chirps, talks, gives you instructions, calls for Alexa, or otherwise makes noise that could be distracting. Thank you. The ceremony will last about 90 minutes, so please avoid getting up and walking in the aisles during the ceremony, as doing so may disturb many others. With those formalities aside, please relax and enjoy the celebration. Welcome, family, friends, faculty, guests, alumni, and graduates to the 2018 Graduate Convocation of the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs of Syracuse University. I'm David Van Slyke, Dean of the Maxwell School, and it is my great honor to welcome you here today. I would also like to acknowledge with respect the Onondaga Nation, the indigenous people on whose ancestral lands we now stand. For all of our students and their families, I know that this has been a challenging and I hope a rewarding experience. As the students have learned, and as their family and friends have most likely heard, members of the Maxwell faculty take seriously their educational responsibilities to push our students beyond reading lists, assignments, papers, presentations, and group projects. As researchers and teachers, we are committed to creating a learning environment focused on the future through a deep understanding of the past and the present, and thereby enhancing students' abilities to adapt to complexity and uncertainty through the development and application of critical thinking and analytical skills. Because you, our students, come from so many different backgrounds, disciplines, and have quite varied expectations for your professional work, a Maxwell education is oriented toward preparing you as much as possible for your future career, decades from now, as much as it's designed in helping you secure your first job out of graduate school. We expect that all Maxwell faculty, staff, students, and alumni commit to the values of the Athenian Oath, to leave a place greater, better, and more beautiful than they found it. This defines our commitment to citizenship and public service, and we believe that public service can happen anywhere, in any sector or work, and throughout your professional, avocational, and personal pursuits. Across the world, we need active, engaged, and thoughtful citizens, individuals with a commitment to a diversity of perspectives, experiences, and goals, people who are willing to listen, to learn, and participate, at times respectfully challenging others' positions, and who are always focused on improving and strengthening our communities, and not simply defending or advancing an individual position or argument. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, you will formally become alumni of the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs and Syracuse University. You will follow in the tradition of many impressive alumni across all our disciplines who have come before you. And we believe that your commitment to public service, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, will remain a defining, lifelong legacy of your experience here at Maxwell. We hope that you will keep us updated on where you are and what you're doing so that we can celebrate your accomplishments and the difference you are making in the lives of others. We also hope that you'll seize the opportunity to become engaged alumni by giving of your time, expertise, and philanthropy to future generations of Maxwell students, just as previous generations have similarly supported many of you. To kick off today's ceremony, it is our custom to have a graduating student offer a greeting to our guests on behalf of the class. This year's address will be given by Marcus Bell. As Marcus comes to the podium, let me tell you a bit about him. Marcus Bell recently completed his PhD and is now an assistant professor of sociology at Onondaga Community College. In his work, Marcus utilizes a combination of qualitative, historical, and comparative methods to examine the intersection of race, citizenship, and social policy in the United States. He is especially interested in the macro-level construction of racial ideology over time, as well as the micro-level construction of racial identity. He also examines the relationships between various racial groups in the state, with a particular focus on the policing of American citizenship. In 2014, Marcus was named a junior fellow of the Yale Urban Ethnography Project. And in 2016, he was awarded the Sociology Dissertation Fellowship from Syracuse University. More recently, Marcus received the Barbara R. Walters Community College Faculty Award by the Eastern Sociological Society. In addition to teaching and research, Marcus also enjoys reading, cooking, and spending time with his partner and 2 daughters. Marcus, please join us.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the Dean of the Maxwell School, the Associate Deans, the Maxwell faculty, the Maxwell students, and the Maxwell staff. Thank you to all the family and friends who have joined us this morning. And a special thank you to my home department, Sociology, specifically Marge DeVault, Janet Correa, Arthur Paris, Prima Curian, and Amy Lutz. I thank you all. This morning, I want to talk about something that I think and I hope everyone in this room can relate to, and that's memories, all right? Memories. There are multiple definitions for the word memory, but to me, memories are those moments, those people, those experiences that tell our stories, all right? With that in mind, I want to share with you 2 important memories that help to tell my story. First, when I was 11 years old, my mom caught me reading one of her Daniel Steele novels. She had a whole bookshelf full of Daniel Steele novels, and she devoured them like candy. If you don't know who Daniel Steele is or what she writes about, Google it. It's not quite 50 Shades of Grey, but it's a good 20, 25 shades. It's grayish. Right? At any rate, it's definitely not age appropriate for an 11-year-old boy. So one day I was home with the fever from school. I got in my mind, this is the day. I'm reading one of those books. I waited till my mom was in the shower. I swiped the book from her shelf, went to my room, and dug in. I didn't even start from the first page. I just opened to a random page and dug in. Right? Apparently, this Daniel Steele was a great writer because soon I found myself lost in the story. I was completely immersed within the story and lost track of everything, and I was snapped back to reality by the voice of my mom saying, "Boy, what are you doing with my book?" Right. This is a happy occasion, so I'm going to skip past the yelling and the cursing and the crying and the fear, and I'll get to the essence of this particular memory. Although she was very upset with me for stealing her book, she was also impressed that at age 11, I could follow the story and follow the plot. From that day on, my mother and I read a book every week. Right. We grew up poor, so we had food insecurity, housing insecurity, unemployment, etc. But as best we could, we tried to read a new book every week, and we did this for years. In doing so, I was able to read such classics like To Kill a Mockingbird, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Animal Farm, The Diary of Anne Frank, The Crucible, Of Mice and Men, and one of my personal favorites, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I picked that one. My mom died in February of 2002. I was 18, and she was 42. In the long swath of history, 18 years is not that much time. But the memories that I have of my mom and our time together cannot be measured in minutes. Right? A random fever led to me staying home from school, which led to me stealing my mom's book, which led to me getting caught, which led to the formation of a mother-son book club, which ultimately led to my lifelong love of reading. And that love of reading has helped me in my time here at Syracuse University. The second memory is much more recent. I'm 35 years old now, and I'm the proud father of 2 incredible, wonderful, amazing, absolutely beautiful little girls. Malia, my eldest, is 3, going on 30, and my youngest is approaching 10 months. Becoming a parent has been the most rewarding, exhausting, exhilarating, frustrating, and happiest experience of my life. Even with all the sleepless nights, the crying, and the poop, there is a lot of poop, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Lisa, my lovely partner, she stayed patient with me, and she's helped me to become a better parent. So with that in mind, let me speak about the birth of my first child. At the time, Lisa and I, we were both really frustrated. We were at our wits' end because we had 3 false starts. On 3 separate occasions, we went to the doctor thinking that was the day, and they sent us home. Okay? So finally, we're in the hospital again for a 4th time, and the doctor says, yes, today is the day, your baby will be here today. Looking back on that day, and I'm ashamed to admit this now, but despite the physical and emotional upheaval that confronted Lisa, the one thing that couldn't escape my mind, the one thing that centered my thought process, was just how cold it was in that room. Right? Lisa was hot, so she wanted the air on. But me, I was freezing. Right? She was being poked and prodded by nurses. She had an IV. They were monitoring her heart rate, etc. So I thought to myself, there's no way you're going to ask for a blanket if she's going through all that. Just tough it out. So that was my plan. Just tough it out. Just take the coldness. You're from Michigan. You can handle it. Tough it out. About an hour or so before Malia was born, there was a brief pause, a brief respite, where Lisa and I had a few minutes to ourselves. She was laying down on the bed. I was in a chair a few feet away, wrapped up in my shirt, had my knees and my arms tucked into my shirt. Right? Lisa called my name very softly. Marcus, come here. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, it's go time. I started panicking. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is it. I'm about to be a dad. I look to the door. She says, come here. I walk to her bed. She takes my hand. Are you okay? I asked. She doesn't respond. So now I'm starting to panic for real, right? My heart's beating a million miles per minute. And then I hear her say, look at me. So I do. And in a very soft and a very calm voice, Lisa says, why don't you just ask for a blanket? Memories. And about an hour later, I became a father. Okay? We don't know how much time we have in this world. We don't know when or how our time will come, but we know that it's coming. And that's okay. What we lack in time, we make up for with memories. Those moments, those people, those times, those events that tell our story. Memories are our best line of defense against time. And it's up to us, me, you, all of us, to create them. Memories may be sweet, they may be loving, they may be sad, they may be painful, right? But they do tell our story. They make us, us. I'll close with this. A tree can live for 1,000 years, but can it fall in love? A planet can live for 1 billion years, but has it ever felt butterflies in the middle of a first date? Has it ever cried tears of joy at the birth of a first child? Has it ever cried tears of sadness when that very child has been crying for 3 hours straight and you have to be to work in 2? Right? Time can be a beautiful thing, an amazing thing. As Martin Luther King Jr. famously stated in the last speech he would ever give, longevity has its place. He was right. We all want to be around for as long as humanly possible, but with all that time has to offer, I'm convinced now more than ever that it pales in comparison to the moments that we share and the memories that we make. Live, love, laugh, cry, make some friends, take some chances, but also play it safe and stay at home. You might find that you like sushi or craft beers or avocado toast. On the other hand, you might find that kale salad tastes exactly how it sounds. Okay? Celebrate this day. Celebrate your achievements. Have fun. Share some laughs with your family and friends. Be proud. Be happy. Be safe. And above all, make some memories. Thank you to the Maxwell School. Thank you to the Department of Sociology. Thank you, Syracuse University. This has been a wonderful, amazing, memorable experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcus. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Associate Dean Andrew London, who will recognize outstanding academic awards for 2018. Dean London is the Associate Dean for Finance and Administration and a Professor of Sociology in the Maxwell School. He is associated with both the Aging Studies Institute and the Center for Policy Research. His current research focuses on health, aging, and the life course, including studies that examine the life course consequences of ADHD, childhood cancer, and military service. Andrew?
Good morning, all, and to the graduates, congratulations. Every year, each department in the Maxwell School reviews the dissertations from the prior year for their PhD candidates and selects a recipient for recognition. I would ask the following winners of the 2018 Doctoral Prize Award, if present, to come up to the stage to be recognized. You can find the titles of each of the winners' dissertations in the program. From anthropology, William Sook, whose advisor is Deborah Pello. Congratulations. Thank you. From economics, Yang Liang, Mary Lovely, and Devashish Mitra, co-advisors. Congratulations. From history, Jesse Heisel, Dennis Romano, advisor. From political science, Michael Newell, Audie Klotz, advisor. Congratulations. From Public Administration and International Affairs, Kelly Stevens, Peter Wilcoxon, advisor. From Social Science, Natasha Koshi, Susan Wadley, advisor. From Sociology, Marcus Bell, Amy Lutz, advisor. Congratulations, nice job for your speech. A round of applause for all of our doctoral prize winners. Each year, the Graduate School at Syracuse University solicits nominations and presents awards for outstanding teaching assistants. The awards recognize approximately 4% of the teaching assistants campus-wide. It's a very high prestige award. This year's winners from Maxwell School include Whitney Bailey from Political Science, Michael Branch from Sociology, Therese Gagnon from Anthropology, Samantha Lee from Social Science, Devora Mondom from History, Raza Raha from Political Science, Lulia Shibalkina from Public Administration and International Affairs, Jared Van Romshorst from Geography, and Christopher Waters from Anthropology. If any of our outstanding teaching assistant awards are present, would you please stand and be recognized for your achievements?
Thank you, Andrew. Now the part of the ceremony you have all been waiting for, when we recognize each of our graduates. You have come from across the United States and all over the world. Some of you came to Maxwell directly from undergraduate studies with little or no professional work experience, and some of you have had substantial prior work experience. Some of you have been juggling work, graduate school, and parenting, and for those of you in this latter category, we offer special congratulations to you. Josh Kennedy, Associate Director for Student Services in the Department of Public Administration and International Affairs, and Margaret Lane, Assistant Director in the Executive Education Programs, will read the names of our graduates as they walk across the stage.
Carolino Arango Vargas. William Sook. Wansong Fu. Bochen Jiang. Hansuk Zhong. Ling Li. Yang Liang. Jindong Pang. Jessica Sovi Sied. Shulin Shen. Lei Zuan. Henry John Stegman III. Kyunghwa Kim. Francisca Buma Newell. Michael Newell. Jeffrey Treistman. Beck Orr. Therese Gagnon. Hamza Khalil. Alana Warner-Smith. Jiawen Yin. Heather Ibsen. David Kelly. Victoria Gerloffs Fritz. Ella Kaplan. You ready? Jinkyu Lee. Asil Al-Nazar. Luvia Hernandez. Markabo Rakimova. Mackenzie Robinson. Benjamin Silverstein. Kyle Wilkinson. Zyar Wynn. Seren Reichert. Tyler Clark. Alexander McDonald. Jason Pandich. Eduardo Rodriguez. Carol Toyero. Kiersey Gonzalez. Christopher Damon Cronmiller. Alexander Demas. Too many hands all at once. Taylor Hamilton. Mia Mazer. Let's wait for them on the other end. Stephen Brecky. Alexia Chambers. Mary Johnson. Andrea Rosero. Aaron Mwawa.
Anupam Anand. Carol Bull. Ming Fan. Melissa Cassidy. Vanish Chowdhury. Colleen Sinkada. Kristen Duggleby. Ipshita Ghosh. Timothy Gonemi. Maria Luisa Hernandez Bedillo. Dashel Enrique Hernandez Guardo. Aaron Martin Kane. Sue Carlick. Jean-Pil Lim. Diravat Madhukar Nike. Amit Nirmal. Daniel Matthew Piston. Carrie Ann Prue. Dongwook Ru. Abdul Khalik Sarabi. Amit Sharma. Hyung Mo Sung. Kodo Takahashi. Raymond Robert Wentworth, Jr. Zhongha Wu. Mamad Zulfagarov. Elizabeth Michelle Butcher. Christopher Lawson Pulliam. Murad Madavov. Jared Gray Shepard. Henry Dyer Cruzado. Lauren Ashley Vermillion. Alyssa Gibbs. Nodira Azova. Marcus Bell. Priyanka Basu Ingti. Tumasha Bhatt. Ingrid Gonzalez McCurdy. Natalia Gulieva. S. Hong Na. Kushnud Sapav. Vineet Sharma. And Sheila Singleton Best.
Let's have one more round of applause for all of our graduating students. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Associate Dean Carol Faulkner, who will recognize our 2018 Daniel Patrick Moynihan Award for Teaching and Research. Dean Faulkner is a professor of history and Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at the Maxwell School. She's the author of multiple books that explore the history of women, race, and social movements in the United States, including Lucretia Mott's Heresy, a biography of the pioneering Quaker minister, abolitionist, and women's rights activist. Carol?
Hi, congratulations, everyone. In 1986, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who was a former junior faculty member in Maxwell from 1959 to 1961, went on to serve as U.S. Senator and statesman, endowed the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Award to be presented annually to an outstanding, untenured faculty member who excels in teaching, research, and service. Moynihan described the crucial importance of retaining promising young faculty members and funded the award to help Maxwell do so. This award is the most valued recognition earned by a junior faculty member in the Maxwell School. I'm very delighted to announce that the 2018 recipient of the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Award for Teaching and Research is Jeffrey Gonda, Assistant Professor of History. Jeffrey, please stand. Please continue standing awkwardly while I introduce you. Yeah. Each year, the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Award winner serves as our featured speaker at Convocation. It is with great pleasure that I tell you a little bit about Jeff Gonda. An assistant professor of American history in the Maxwell School, he joined the faculty in 2012 after receiving a PhD in history and African American studies from Yale University. At Syracuse, his research and teaching has focused on the history of American race relations and the intersections of law with social protest movements. His first book, Unjust Deeds, The Restrictive Covenant Cases and the Making of the Civil Rights Movement, examines how the fight against housing discrimination after World War II helped shape the struggle for civil rights in American courtrooms. Unjust Deeds was published by the University of North Carolina Press in 2015 as part of the Justice, Power, and Politics series. He is also a recipient of the Supreme Court Historical Society's Hughes Gossett Award, a former Charles Warren Fellow at Harvard University, and in 2017, a winner of Syracuse University's Meredith Teaching Recognition Award for excellence in undergraduate teaching. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Jeff Gonda.
Well, congratulations to our graduates. What a proud day. I want to very quickly thank the Moynihan Selection Committee, the whole team in the Dean's Office, my colleagues in the History Department and the Campbell Public Affairs Institute, and an amazing group of faculty across Maxwell who have been so generous with their time and advice and support over the past 6 years, and of course, my wife. Every course that I teach, everything that I write, basically boils down to a single question. How do you change the world? My students and I look for answers in the work of local civil rights attorneys, in the organizing efforts of activists in rural Alabama, among student protesters in New York City. We look in courtrooms and in neighborhoods, in sermons and in speeches and Supreme Court decisions. We look for answers in the lives of athletes who broke through racial and gender barriers, in the strivings of an unheralded generation of black women lawyers from the 1940s and 1950s, in the protests that have responded to the violence long visited upon those treated as second-class citizens. Many of us here today have grappled with this question in our own ways, in our scholarship, in our day-to-day lives. And so when I thought about what the activists whose lives I immerse myself in would say on an occasion like this, I think that they would speak about the work that we can and that we must do together. So if you'll indulge me in the spirit of this happy and auspicious occasion that has called us together to celebrate not only your past labors, but also to imagine and to embark upon new futures, I'd like to share one of the answers to this question of how we might change the world that I have been particularly taken by over the years. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Arthur Ashe was a scholar, a champion athlete, a soldier, an outspoken activist, an African-American man born in the Jim Crow South who knew the indignities of discrimination and rejection, and who steadily grew throughout his varied careers into a remarkable advocate for the rights of the disenfranchised and mistreated, not just in the United States, but in communities all across the world. Ashe's story is one that I've told many times in my classes, an embodiment of commitment and service, of an understanding that our talents and our achievements are never really ours alone. And Ashe made this statement, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, as something of a challenge, one that I think holds power for us today. In calling upon us to start where we are, it's a reminder, one that I encounter again and again in studying the lives and labors of civil rights activists, that we don't have to wait for permission or for the right set of circumstances to present themselves in order to get involved and to work for a more just future. Many of the people that I write about found that the best place to start was in their own neighborhoods, in the institutions and the communities that they were already a part of. Let us talk to those around us. Let us listen. Let us insist that we and our schools, our workplaces, our communities do better, that they be more inclusive. In calling for us to use what we have, it's a reminder that you should never doubt that you have something valuable and meaningful to contribute. I write about a civil rights movement that was shaped as much by domestic workers and school children as it was by preachers and presidents. Everybody has something to offer. And you all here have an important perspective on this, because not only have you honed skills in your time at Maxwell that can and will make a difference when you apply them in the world, but you have also seen the power of knowing that we always have more to learn from one another. Seek each other out. And in calling for us to do what we can, Ashe reminds us that our silence, our complacency, is never an acceptable response in the face of injustice. One of the resounding themes that echoes from the people and the movements that I study is that the greatest obstacles to success often aren't those posed by the opposition. Those who fight to change the world expect to encounter resistance. Instead, activists have long understood that one of the greatest threats or limitations to their success was the complacency of those who could help, but who failed to abandon the comfort of silence. Those who chose through inaction to wash their hands of the responsibility to follow a more just, a more righteous course. Martin Luther King Jr. would write from a jailhouse in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963 that the mere passage of time itself could not bring progress. It is only our willingness to act, our purposeful advocacy within the flow of time and history that can truly bring about change. But my work has also given me, as I hope your work here has given you, some indications of how we might move forward, of what we can stand on. Two of the most powerful tools throughout history in the hands of those who have wanted to make a difference have been truth and hope. Look around you. I've spent a lot of time in here, which is the kind of thing that you do when you don't yet have tenure. But emblazoned on the walls here are testaments to the power and importance of truth. As an historian, I get to see how truth is at once a force for liberation, something that truly can set you and people free. But it's also a cautionary reminder. After all, the truth is that the movements that I study failed more often than they succeeded. The truth is that the civil rights movement inherited an unfinished struggle in American history and left an unfinished struggle for all of us to inherit and for us to take up in our present moment. The very idea of truth seems to be facing some extraordinary challenges in today's political climate, but the poet William Cullen Bryant once wrote that truth, crushed to earth, will rise again.
The eternal years of God are hers. As scholars and as citizens, as graduates of Maxwell, you all will have a critical role to play in helping truth's resurgence. And just as important, I think, has been the persistence and the undeniable power of hope. Hope, in the words of one of the women who I write about, the feminist lawyer, poet, and priest Pauli Murray, hope is a crushed stalk between clenched fingers. Hope is a song in a weary throat. For Murray and for countless others like her, hope is that thing that we can grab hold of, that tells us to keep going in spite of the circumstances. For us as scholars, the search for truth, the embrace of hope, they infuse our work when it is at its best. Truth reminds us then of the work still to be done, but it's hope that tells us that we have to do it. And in conclusion, here we are in celebration, in anticipation of all that is to come. So I want to make one last plea to all of you. We need you. I'll say it again. We need you. We need you now as much as ever. We need you to go on from here and to fight for change, to use the skills and the knowledge and the friendships and the relationships that you have built here. We need you to use that remarkable persistence that it takes to weather the rigors of a graduate program. We need you to do the work of scholars and activists, to believe in and to advocate for the things that don't yet exist, the books that need to be written, the ideas that need to be articulated, the organizations that need to be built, the policies that need to be changed, the service in our communities that needs to be done, the fire that is shut up in your bones that has to get out. We need it. We need you to try audacious things, to dream expansively, to pursue something so transformative or ambitious that you might not succeed the first time around or the second, and we need you to challenge us to do the same. It's in doing that that we might knock a few dents into the universe. And lastly, we'll need you to come back to Maxwell, and I will understand if you don't do that in January or February or March. But we need you to come back. We need you to share your experiences, your expertise, to help us grow, to build back into this place, to make it greater, to make it better. I know that I speak for all of my colleagues on this stage when I say that we are fortunate and we are proud to have you all as a part of our future. So congratulations once again to you and to your families, and thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Many faculty members of the Maxwell community were recognized for outstanding professional achievements this year, and I want to tell you about just a few of them. The Laura J. and L. Douglas Meredith Professorship was created in 1995 to recognize and reward outstanding teaching at the university. Recipients are selected for teaching innovation, effectiveness in communicating with students, and the lasting value of courses. This year's recipient is from Maxwell, is Tom Perot of the Geography Department. Please join me in congratulating Tom. The university also recognizes excellence in teaching at the non-tenured faculty rank. This year, Francine D'Amico of International Relations received the university's Meredith Teaching Recognition Award. Please join me in congratulating Francine. The Chancellor's Citation for Excellence seeks to recognize members of the university community who have made invaluable contributions to Syracuse University in two overarching ways: through commitment to scholarship and research that contributes to new understandings of world and creative responses to its needs, and through advancing the four pillars that Chancellor Severud has identified to foster excellence at Syracuse University by providing an outstanding undergraduate experience, empowering research excellence, fostering change and innovation, and positioning Syracuse as the best university in the world for veterans. The award for faculty excellence and scholarly distinction recognizes faculty members who are collaborators in works of intellectual richness that has the potential for impact. This work should offer possibilities for collaboration, both within Syracuse University and outside in partnership with others. This year's Syracuse University's recipient is Professor Osama Khalil of History. Late last month, Professor Jennifer Caras-Montes in Sociology and a Gerald B. Kramer Scholar of Aging Studies was named one of only 31 recipients nationally as a 2018 Andrew Carnegie Fellow, the most generous and prestigious fellowship in the social sciences and humanities. Congratulations, Jennifer. As we move to the end of our ceremony, I would be remiss if I did not thank our incredible Maxwell staff for all their hard work in planning this event and the superb work that they do all year long. Please join me in particular in recognizing Kathleen Bruner and Holly Johnson, who have organized this very meaningful event, along with Margaret Lane, Josh Kennedy, the great staff of ICT, the numerous administrative staff volunteers from across all Maxwell departments, and the faculty that have worked with passion and commitment to ensuring that you've had the most enriching experience possible. Thank you very much. An academic program is only as good as its faculty. Will all Maxwell faculty stand and please be recognized? Please. This is a group of faculty with tremendous dedication and service to students of the Maxwell School and the university. They're an amazing group of teachers, scholars, and colleagues, and I thank you all for your continued commitment to excellence. Before we end our ceremony and send you off to celebrate with your friends and family, we will conclude with the great Maxwell tradition, the reading of the Athenian Oath. I ask that you all rise and join me in reciting the oath, which is located on the back page of your program. We will ever strive for the ideals and sacred things of the city, both alone and with many. We will unceasingly seek to quicken the sense of public duty. We will revere and obey the city's laws. We will transmit the city not only not less, but greater, better, and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us. Please be seated. I hope that your time at the Maxwell School will serve you well in the years to come. You have made friends that will last a lifetime. Friends are important, but what unites you as friends also unites you with Maxwell alumni. By using the skills and knowledge learned here at Maxwell, you will, to paraphrase the Athenian Oath one last time, make the city greater than it was transmitted to you, and your commitment becomes a part of the tradition, the success, and the soul of the Maxwell School. On behalf of all of us here on the stage and the faculty and staff who could not be with us today, it has been a tremendous pleasure and honor getting to know you and working with you during your years here at Maxwell. We can't wait to see all of the amazing things that you accomplish. And we hope you'll keep in touch. Don't be afraid to brag to us. It is among the very best parts of our job. So now, before we conclude, please join me in one more round of applause for the 2018 graduating class. The official party on the stage will leave first. Students will follow row by row from the front to the back, led by your class marshal and my good friend, Alexander Dimas. I ask the guests to remain in place until all of the students have recessed, and I invite you all to a reception honoring the students outside in the Maxwell courtyard, where we'll enjoy some light refreshments. The 2018 Maxwell Graduate Convocation is now adjourned.